Hello, this is CurtisCroweThePhotoPro here, and what I have for you today is how to use a piece of gear that you might have laying around the house. You might not even be using it, but you can add it to your indoor studio in order to add a little bit better atmosphere for your subject when you're shooting. Do you remember back in the old days when your parents would take you to a photo studio and they'd take pictures of you in a little room and they'd have a monitor in order for you to see yourself after your picture was taken? Well, with modern technology, you can still do that with just an old monitor and an HDMI cable. HDMI cables are just a few bucks, and then an old monitor, if you have one that supports HDMI, you can hook it up if you're not using it, and it adds a little bit something extra to your photo shoots. So that way your subject can look at the photo and go, you know what? I know I'm no professional model, but I think I can do that one a little bit better. Go ahead and take that shot again. That way you're getting a little bit more from your client instead of solely relying on yourself. And it helps guarantee you that you'll get photos that your client's going to love. And if they're seeing themselves with your very nice composed images and your very sharp equipment, they're going to feel a little bit more confident during the shoot instead of waiting until after the shoot before they're like, oh wow, that's amazing. It's just something to add to your photo shoot. So I'm going to show you how to do it. All you need is an HDMI cable. Now, it's not your standard HDMI cable. It's the kind that would have to plug from your TV to your camera. Your camera uses a mini HDMI. So some other devices, such as smartphones and stuff like that, have used mini HDMI. You can find them on Amazon, and I will provide a link to one down below if you'd like to go ahead and click that link and buy one yourself. And I use a 25-foot one because that gives you a lot of room in order to move around. Whether you're in a small room or a larger room, it gives you a lot of ability to move around without actually pulling on the cable, because remember, you will be officially tethered to the monitor. So if you walk farther than your cable, you're gonna damage your monitor or your camera. So you got to make sure you get yourself a nice, really long HDMI cable. Plug it right in the side of the camera and back of the monitor, and you're good to go. And I'm going to show you exactly how it works. So for today, we have a stuffed bear. Teddy bear, if you will, that we're going to call Shelly for this demonstration. And Shelly is sitting there all nice like, ready for their photo to be taken. Now, once you've hooked this up to the side of the camera and into the back of the monitor, you will get access to view your pictures once you take the shot. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to stand back. Again, we got a 25-foot cable here, so we can stand as far back as we want, basically, or at least 25 feet back. And we're going to go ahead and take that shot. And take the shot. And as you can tell, next to Shelly is the photo. It does take a few seconds for it to get over there. Is the photo that we see in the back of our camera. Now, of course, we wouldn't have this monitor usually right next to the subject. But for demonstration purposes, so you can see the subject and the monitor at the same time, I went ahead and positioned that right next to Shelly. So as you're taking photos, Shelly now has the opportunity to look at the photo and say, hey, I like that photo, but can we take it one more time? I want to do my eyes differently or smile differently, or I didn't feel like that was authentic. And now they are critiquing their own posing instead of just relying solely on you. Because sometimes when we're busy with the settings of the camera and lighting and flash and all that other jazz, we get a little caught up with the fundamentals and the technical and even the composition side of it, that we're not looking at every little detail of the model. This is someone that can check their own posing and check their own expressions in order to make sure that your photos turn out great. So again, if you don't have one of these monitors laying around, you can get a super cheap one for what, 60, 70 bucks. I'll have a link in the description of the cheapest one I can find that's worth buying. And you get an HDMI cable, that's only a handful of bucks, and then you have something that can help ensure and basically your client can view your photos as you're taking them to make sure that the photos are what's going to make the client happy. One extra thing I do want to show you is this isn't just good for photography, it's also good for videography, because as you can tell, the monitor is showing exactly what is on the back end of my camera. I can see my settings, I can see my actual video, and this is a great way to get on a larger screen than just the standard 3 or so inch screen on the back, for you to check sharpness and really get in there and check details and make sure that everything's looking great, so that way you're ready to record. So this isn't just good for photographers, but it's also good for videographers. So as you can see, this is beneficial for both photography and videography. This is a great way to check your work, check your framing, check your sharpness, and for your client, if you are shooting a client, for them to also proof their own posing and how they structure their face and all that other stuff. So this is something, if you have an indoor studio, I highly recommend. Go ahead, check out the links down below. I'll have a link to the cables, I'll have a link to the monitor, and all that will be down below, and a brief description on how everything actually works. So this has been Curtis Crowe, the Photo Pro. If you found this useful, go ahead, hit that like button. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. And if you did like this content and want to see more content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. As always, this has been Curtis Crowe, the Photo Pro, and as I always do, toodles. Second thing is very important, and I feel like it's something that people kind of graze over, and that's itemize your gear. Find out how much every single piece of gear you have costs.
Nice front element. I don't know if you can see that. How beautiful that is. Let's open up the other side so you can see all the way.
Jeans, if we wanted to see how much that's changed in the before and after shot.